Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. We get together with our distribution partners most weekday mornings at this time, 8 o'clock Central, to discuss strategies, tips, techniques, and to support each of you. Today, we're going to take a step back and just make sure that we're all clear on the big picture of what it is that you and I do. I'm sharing with you the guaranteedfunding.org website, and this is exactly what your landing page will look like. We provide a free landing page to each of you that decide to become an affiliate. There's no cost to be an affiliate. My goal is first to discuss with you and kind of brainstorm on a high level, strategic level, and then go through a bit of what's on the landing page, so you're able to accurately and adequately describe to others what it is that you and I do. So guaranteedfunding.org is a nonprofit organization. Our mission is to help small business owners access a minimum of $100,000 to start or grow a business. There's specifically three things that we do that allows us to be able to make such a lofty promise. And it is, in fact, described here, and I'll make this a bit larger so you see it. So how is it that you and I can go out to the marketplace and guarantee any entrepreneur, regardless if they got good credit or bad credit, regardless if their business has been around 10 years, 10 days, or hasn't even started yet? How is that possible? Well, you and I have expertise in positioning small businesses to access capital. So what we provide to the client is a threefold proposition to get to that desired outcome. Top right-hand corner, we provide them access. They're not required to do it, but we provide them access to award-winning financial literacy information. There's 4 modules plus an intro, which we call 27 mistakes. So 5 modules total. Now in our implementation process, we provide them immediately access to the 4 modules plus the initial one, 27 mistakes, from day one. Do they have to go through the financial literacy curriculum? Of course not. Would they be better off if they did? Typically, yes, because they're going to learn how to understand these concepts and these terms and how lenders and extenders of credit are going to judge their business. We often talk about module 3, financial reporting here, and we talk about balance sheets versus income statements. And I can tell you so often that we're working with clients that either don't understand the difference between the two, they often don't have a balance sheet or an income statement, or what they present is woefully inadequate. And so that I'm not complaining, that's not a problem, but there's a void of knowledge. It's pretty easy to start a new business, but to know what you need to know, there's a lot of people that have financial illiteracy, and that impacts their access to capital and their ability probably to succeed long term. So you and I are addressing that for free, conveniently, through the financial literacy. So that's first of the 3 things that we do. Now, the topic we're on is kind of big picture of, how is it that we can guarantee everyone $100,000? And I'm going to add a few points that we've not discussed before, so hang in there. But that the financial literacy is important. How do we deliver that now? Each client, when they sign up, we send them a Building Your Loan Package Adobe. They are it's not a contract, but they're asked to initial off on it to acknowledge receiving it. 2 pages, and access to the financial literacy curriculum is on that second page. Referred to on the first page, details on the second. We've had training on that. So that's the first of the 3 things that we do that allows what you and I to do to be credible, that we can promise any small business $100,000. Do they have to go through the financial literacy to access $100,000? Technically, no, but them not being, if they are not, and I'm not saying all small business owners aren't, not at all, but if they're not financially literate, that can certainly be a barrier, because either they don't understand what we're talking about, what we're asking, what we need. The second of the three components is putting together a loan package. So what happens is we collect from the client from a list of what they currently have. So on that same building your loan package Adobe, there's a list of 10 plus or minus items, and we ask them to provide those. We provide them a Dropbox and they upload into the Dropbox. And so if they don't have something, it's okay. We need to see what their starting point is, and then we can start to craft a funding plan based upon their mitigating circumstances. I'll give you an example. We have a client, real client, his name's Jody. And Jody's a great guy. He's not actively working. He's actually on Social Security. And Jody is in the market to buy several commercial properties, the most expensive of which is around $20 million. Now, Jody's got bad credit. He has no assets and he has no income, but Jody is committed to buying multiple commercial properties, including one that is around $20 million. Well, that's quite the journey, isn't it? So you notice we don't go out to the marketplace and promise everyone $20 million or $1 million, because that is a more complicated proposition that, while ultimately Jody or anyone else can get from here to there, that could be a longer journey. When we applied for and received the grant, it's based upon a very realistic 100,000. That's still a lot of money, of course. But if clients like Jody want more than 100,000, we'll work with them on that. But the guarantee is just for 100,000, because we can influence and assist and position a client with their credibility, which we'll get to in a moment, to get them to 100,000 in a reasonable amount of time. People often ask, well, how long? Well, it depends upon the client, right? We need to figure out what they have, what they need, if there are any issues, and then resolve those issues, which I'm going to come back to in a moment. So building a loan package is the second of the three. The third of the three elements is making sure that the client is credible enough. And this is maybe our secret sauce. So if you're to talk about at a high level, if clients have alternatives, could small business owners find other ways to become financially literate? Yeah, they could. I don't think there's anything better than what we offer, but yeah, there are certainly substitutes. They could go get an MBA from Wharton. They could go through their local SBDC score. There's other options. I understand. Are there other options for the loan packaging? There are. Typically, those cost $5,000 to $10,000 to have someone put together the loan package. We're doing it for free through the program. But yes, technically, there are substitutes. Now, when I say they're substitutes, that shouldn't be interpreted as bad, right? I mean, you go open a new restaurant. Are there other restaurants in town? Of course. So we don't have to be the only player in the whole industry to be successful, but we need to do something different. We need to do something better. So the financial literacy and the loan packaging are both valuable aspects and important aspects. But the real difference of what you and I do, our secret sauce, if you will, our strategic differentiator, is really the credibility building. Because how is it that a client gets approved for funding? Is it because they really, really need money? It's not. Is it because they really, really want money? It's not. Is it because they have a really, really good idea? It's not. It's, are they credible enough on paper to get approved for the funding that they're applying for? So from that, you can infer we need to figure out what's the right type of funding for them first. And that's a little bit of an art, a little bit of a science, but we can glean through that as we gather and build their loan package. But also, they have to be credible. And if we have clients that are unhappy with us, it's almost always because there's a disconnect in their mind of what it takes to get funding. So let's just all be clear, and this is maybe the most important point of our discussion today. How do you get approved for funding? You have to meet the underwriting criteria. That's true for getting a mortgage, for getting a car loan, getting a student loan, or as what you and I do together, getting a business loan. Different sources of capital have different underwriting criteria. So there's not just some simple set of what you have to have. That is true. But it's by gathering the loan package documents and understanding the client's goals. How much funding do they want? What are they going to use it for? What are their credibility factors now, both at an individual and business level? And so from that, we can create a plan of either, great, looks like you're ready, let's go apply to funding. We have many clients that are getting funded and we go to funding right away. We have other clients, possibly like Jody, that there's a disconnect. Is Jody right now ready to apply for it? Well, if you ask him, the answer is yes, but is he qualified for a $20 million loan? The truth is he's not yet. Now we're going to work with him to improve and get at least 100,000, but he's not yet. So a pessimist would say, well, we need to screen these people out, right? If they're not ready to go to funding, we shouldn't help them. But think about that. That's just the opposite of what we want to do. The people that are already ready for funding, I mean, we can assist them as well, but they need us less or so than those that are not ready for funding, right? Those that need help, because you and I have the ability to help people become credible enough to get funded. And we promise it, we guarantee it. We'll work with them until that happens. So again, you and I are financially literate. We learn this in school. If you're like me, we're out teaching it and preaching it. But you can't assume that the average person knows what you know, because unfortunately, they don't. So what does it take to get approved? Well, it comes down, well, we said it, you have to meet the underwriting criteria, but in general, it's some combination of credit, which could be personal or business, capacity, in other words, cash flow, the ability to pay it back, and collateral. Different sources of capital have different formulas. Some, frankly, don't look at all three C's. Some just look at two of the C's. There's some that only look at one of the C. I have a client that we're working with now that is going to get around $50,000 of first tranche financing based upon credit alone. This individual does not have documented income, does not have documented collateral. So it varies. But hopefully you can see the process separate from the financial literacy, which is needed and important, but not required. We need to gather the data set, and then we sit down in the funding committee, look at that data set, create a plan for that client, and then propose the plan. It may be that they're ready to go to funding right away. We've got a bunch of deals going through the SBA right now for SBA guaranteed loans. I was just going through that database this morning, so that's fine. But some people just aren't ready yet. So does that mean it's a failure of you or me, of the program? Absolutely not. How do we get approved for funding? We have to meet the underwriting criteria. So again, half the battle is finding the right source of capital based upon the client circumstances. And then secondly, we have to meet the credibility requirements. And that's what you and I do. So do we want to filter people out that aren't so credible on credit? No, we want to embrace them and encourage them to participate. If we have people that have capacity problems, do we want to filter them out? Absolutely not. We can help them build credit. We can help them build capacity. What about those that don't have any collateral? Is that a problem? No. They come aboard, and if they have a collateral shortfall, we can fix it. So that's what you and I do as technical advisors. If you're a white label partner, you're literally getting paid for helping people improve their credibility, plus getting paid for their capital raise. If you're an affiliate, it's real simple. Just refer into your landing page. It looks like this. So why are we having this discussion this morning? Well, I think it's valuable if you can step back and really understand what it is that we do. Once in a while, we'll have someone that says, oh, this is a scam. This is too good to be true. No, it's spelled out right here. Now, in terms of going out to the marketplace, there are lots and lots of small business owners as well as entrepreneurs that want and need capital. So what is your approach to creating awareness? That's up to you. You could post on Craigslist, that's mixed bag. You could use Synergy Direct Solutions and buy lead. Well, they give leads away if you use their virtual assistant. There's different ways to generate leads. That's not really our focus today, but there's no shortage of small business owners that would like to have an extra 100,000 to start or grow a business. So the key bullets are actually right here. So again, we provide you this landing page. It looks just like this. The difference is that the coding in this box is coded to you. Here are your hot buttons, if you will. What is it that's going to get people's attention? So if you're to run an ad or to verbally speak about it, these are kind of the hot buttons, right? Guaranteed $100,000 capital raise, but there is no maximum. That doesn't mean that we raise the guaranteed. So again, Jody wants 20 million. We're not guaranteeing 20 million. We can't legally, ethically, but we guarantee Jody at least 100,000. So first bullet, guaranteed 100,000 minimum capital raise. If they want more money, that's fine. We'll work with them for more, but the first 100,000 is guaranteed. Now, what do they need to do for that to happen? They're going to have to enroll and they're going to have to participate, right? Those are two things they're going to need to do. If they don't enroll, they're not a client. We don't help them. Just that makes sense. And then they're going to need to participate. And so that's where we can sometimes run into problems. People want to enroll, they expect the outcome, but they don't want to participate. That's too good to be true. They have to participate. We don't need to filter. As long as it's a US-based business, it's fine, and they can even be pre-formation. We get them their first tranche of financing within 7 days in almost all circumstances. Now, the amount of first tranche financing, that first round, will vary from client to client. Might be a little, might be a lot, might be a loan, might be a line of credit. It can vary, but quickly. We charge nothing up front, and we can debate that if you want, but we do not charge anything up front for clients to enroll. The biggest objection that we face or pushback is, well, will I have any payments? Well, yeah, if you go borrow money, you're going to have to pay it back. I mean, that's the premise of borrowing money. And as ludicrous as that sounds, some people will not make that connection. Yeah, you're going to take on debt. If you want to come borrow, you want us to help you borrow a lot of money, then you're going to have a lot of debt. Now, we're going to work with you, and the goal is to inject that money into your business to start or grow, to generate a positive ROI so you can cover the debt and be profitable and be happy. But there is no cost to enroll, but there is a cost to debt. But we're not the lenders. So the lenders will determine. People will come to you and ask, well, what's interest rate going to be? Fuck, I don't know. I don't know. We've got to get you plugged. You got to enroll. We need to build your loan package. We get you to the funding committee. We see what the right type of capital is based on your circumstance. We make sure that you're credible for that. If so, then we'll apply, and the lender will make you offers. No, we don't get a power of attorney to say, oh, well, you got to prove for this 100,000 and it's 11% interest, and you're freaking out because you didn't want to pay more than 9. We're not getting a power of attorney. We're not committing the client to some funding arrangement. We're working with them to get them what they qualify for at that time, and they can accept it or reject it. Another key bullet is there's no minimum credit score. We don't have a minimum credit score to enroll in the program. And as we mentioned, no minimum time. So if you're trying to think about the big picture, we've discussed that today. And then secondly, if what you're trying to do is to really think about the bullet points that could attract participants, they're frankly right here. And so the more that your message matches your landing page, the better off we are. So, what's a good tagline? $100,000 guaranteed access to capital. Got the training. Got the training video here if you care to view it. We've got the bullets. We added this graphic recently, a couple of weeks ago, to everyone's landing page because it describes how this is possible and a little bit about us. So what questions, comments, concerns do any of you have regarding either the big picture of what you and I do, included in the blue graphic, or in terms? Okay, so Pauline's got the first question of the day. Pauline asks, what happens if a client rejects the first tranche? Great. So I'm happy to answer, but we always have to go to the agreement to get the technical answer. So first of all, it would determine, are you a white label partner enrolling the client? If so, it's your agreement and you're dictating what the rules are. Or if you're an affiliate, or at least referring the client in as an affiliate, then we have our standard agreement, standard rules. So I'll give you the standard answer, Pauline, but as a white label partner, frankly, you could change that as you like. So the way the model is set up and the agreement is set up is that we tell the client that there's no upfront cost, and we tell them that because there is none, of course, but there's no upfront cost. We get an app from them right away, and then we find out what first tranche financing they qualify for. Again, we had a gentleman, it was a couple of days ago now, he got this week though, he got 30 offers, 30 different cash funding offers to pick from. He could pick one or multiple, right? So some people get lots of cash offers, some get a few, some get one, some get none. If they get none, then we offer them the 0% financing option. It's internal, 0% interest, and we break that refundable deposit down over low payments. We used to do ACH pulls. People didn't want that, so now we just bill them because obviously these are responsible adults. We'll bill them and they'll pay the invoice. That builds their business credit as well. Pauline's question was none of that. It was, well, what happens if the client rejects the first tranche? Well, the way the standard agreement states is that there's no upfront cost. We'll arrange for at least one financing offer to cover their refundable deposit. And if they don't like what they've been offered, they don't have to accept it. Now, they still owe the refundable deposit. If you're a white label partner, they're paying you. If you're an affiliate, they're paying us. So they still owe that. But yeah, if they don't like it, that's their choice. No one's requiring them to take it, but that doesn't relieve them of the responsibility. It's kind of like if you and I went, Pauline, to a car dealership and said, okay, I want to buy that new Mercedes-Benz S-Class. And they run our credit and then they give us our financing offers. And so, you know, there's different offers, and if we don't want to accept any of them, we don't have to. So the client that enrolls, they've promised to pay the $2,500 refundable deposit. We've promised that there's no upfront cost. We've promised to get them at least one funding offer, and then the marketplace makes that offer. I had one gentleman said, well, these interest rates seem a little high. And I said, well, you should understand that the Federal Reserve is increasing interest rates across our economy. And secondly, we don't have the ability to make your interest rates higher or lower. You're getting what you qualify for. We don't make money off of higher interest rates. We don't make them higher or lower. And so it is what it is. That's a reflection. But there's a difference between the consumer mindset and the business mindset. The consumer mindset is, oh, that interest rate's a little high, this must be a bad deal. The business mindset is, what can I do with that money? So if I borrow that money, even if the interest rate's a little higher than what I want, how will it impact my business? How can I inject that into my business for marketing or assets, inventory, for the loan package, whatever it is, to then turn around, leverage that and grow? And so what's the ROI expected to be? So in short, Pauline asked, what happens if the client rejects the first tranche? The answer is, if you're a white label partner, it's up to you. If you're an affiliate and they're coming through the affiliate track, then we would say, well, you can accept the offer you have, or you can pay the deposit out of pocket because you owe the deposit. So that would be the answer. Anyone else have any questions on our big picture discussion today? All right. Well, we'll see you back tomorrow morning. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.